Hey everyone, and happy Monday. I'm going to check real quick to make sure we are streaming in all of the sites. So if you're joining me tonight, I am streaming live from my Facebook group, and I am also streaming live on my Calculated Profits page along with YouTube. So you're joining me from one of those three places, and that's awesome. I see some of you are online tonight, so thank you so much for joining us. If you're here, if you will just drop hello or however you want to do it in the comments below so that I can see that you're here. And as a reminder, I am streaming through StreamYard. So you have to grant permission from StreamYard for me to see your name. So I see a couple of comments. Hey, Mr. Harold, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Let's see, anyone else? Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, we are going to dive in here, guys, and get started. So lots of exciting things coming up with the new bill that the president did sign. So it is effective. And so we're going to go through that bill a little bit with you, explain what that means for you, whether you are just a taxpayer or maybe you are self-employed. So we're going to go through all of the nitty gritty. If you have questions as we go through this, just please comment those, and I'm going to just take your questions as we go. So a couple more. Hey, Stephanie, Kim, Patsy, M, and another Stephanie. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's just get started. Let's dive in. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie, and I am with Calculated Profits. And I specialize in helping entrepreneurs know their numbers and get clarity of their business finances so that they can make calculated business decisions and be ready for tax time. So that is my passion. I am your tax and accounting guru expert. Been doing this for over 15 years, so lots of experience in the field. All right, so moving along. Let's see, where do I want to start? So the first stimulus started back in March, way back in March, guys. And there have been talk ever since March that we were going to have another stimulus package. So we've been waiting since March. Finally, on the 21st, we got an announcement that the Senate and the House both finally agreed on something, and they sent the bill to the president. And I'm reading my notes here because all these dates kind of come together. This bill was almost 6,000 pages. So there was more to this bill than just the COVID Relief Act. They kind of just put a lot of stuff in one bill. No, I have not read all 6,000 pages, but I am weeding through the parts that affect you and me as taxpayers. So, finally, Trump came out and he said, you know what? Great. Thanks for doing this, but I'm not signing it. I want $2,000 instead of the $600. And so it's kind of just been sitting in limbo, like what's going to happen. And then yesterday, don't know what happened, but he changed his mind and he said, okay, I'm going to sign it. So that put the ball in motion. Now there's more to come with this, and we're going to talk about some things that have happened today a little bit later on. So there are some more changes that are still going on. But let's jump in. So if you're just joining me, say hey, and remember that I am streaming through StreamYard. So you have to give StreamYard permission or I can't see your name. So I see a couple more. Hey, Ashley, Desiree. There's a couple more that say, hey, Stephanie, but I don't see your name. Sorry. So, hey. All right, so let's get into one of the big things with this bill is the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as the PPP. And these are for all of my business owners that are listening to me tonight. Originally, the PPP, and I was one of these people, guys, who got my application in exactly when they told me to, and all of a sudden they ran out of money. That was me. Was that you? Comment if that was you too, that you did not get the original round of the Paycheck Protection Program. Let me know if that was you. Hey, Shirley, how are you? So if that was you, good news, they're opening back up the Paycheck Protection Program. And if you did not get it the first time, you're going to be able to get it this time. So good news, good news. And remember that was calculated on 2.5 times your average monthly payroll. Now, some of you guys who are self-employed, you had bankers like my banker, sorry if you're listening, that didn't know the rules. I don't blame him. There was just a lot of jargon in there, okay? Who didn't understand that I got a percentage of my profit as well as the monthly payroll for my employees. So some of you missed out on some of the PPP money. If you did, recheck your calculation and make sure it's right. If you were underfunded, good news, you can go back and get the difference. So that's great things that are happening here. Also, originally, remember, and I talked about this on a live a couple of weeks ago, that if you there we go. All right, so if you by chance were, I just lost my train of thought here. A few weeks ago, I told you that this money was going to be taxable. Essentially, they weren't going to make you claim it as income, but you couldn't write off the expenses. Well, this new bill means you can write off the expenses. So this is truly tax-free money. Okay, so tax-free money, number one, and it's forgivable as long as you use it for the things that you're supposed to be using it for. Okay, so that's the second thing. Also now you can use it for other things. So you don't just have to use it for payroll and rent. If you used it for getting your gear for protection, or maybe, rearranging your storefronts or buying masks, different things like that, you can also use it for those operational expenses as well. All right, so let's see. I'm going to check my comments real quick. Give me 2 seconds here. All right. So anybody here, raise your hand if you did not get PPP. I want to know, raise your hand, PPP. All right, anybody? I'm looking. Anybody did not get PPP first round? Awesome. Okay. All right. Oh, Mr. Harold, great question. What about stimulus? I'm getting there. I promise I'm getting there. I promise. All right. So round 2. There's a round 2 of the PPP as well. Round 2, your income has to be down by 25%. Hey, Julie, no PPP. This is good news for you, Julie. All right, so for round 2, to be eligible for round 2, that means you got round 1, but you want to go back to round 2. That means that 1 quarter between 2019 and 2020, you had to be down 25% in revenue. Okay. So you can pick any quarter. So I would start with quarter 1, January, February, March, and see what your gross income was for those 3 months of 2019. And we're going to compare it to 2020. Okay. So if first quarter's revenue was down by 25% or more, then you are eligible for the second round of PPP. Now, if first quarter didn't do it, you just keep moving second, third, fourth until you find a quarter, if there is one, that your sales were down by 25% or more. Okay. Any questions on that? Are we good? Oh, my video went out. I didn't realize that. Thank you, Patsy, Harold. Awesome. All right. Gonna keep moving here. All right. Any questions on PPP? All right. So reach out to your bank. Can you see me? No, I cannot see you. You don't have, you haven't given StreamYard permission for me to see who you are. So give StreamYard permission. But hello anyway. All right, stimulus check. So here's the deal with stimulus. This affects everybody, business owners or not, stimulus. So with the new bill, taxpayers will receive $600 stimulus. So that's $600 for the taxpayer, $600 for the spouse if you're married, filing jointly, and then $600 for dependents on your 2019 tax return who were under the age of 17. I know it's not fair. I've heard it. I have one that's 18. I get it, but that's the ruling. Okay. Now there are income limits on this, pretty much the same as before. Single 75,000, head of household 112,500, and married filing jointly 150,000. So if your income is over that, there's going to be phase out, so you're not going to get the full stimulus. Okay. Now, a question I get a lot is, I got direct deposit on the first stimulus. Will I get direct deposit on this one? Yes, you will. It's going to follow the same path. So if you got a check, you're going to get a check. And I don't know if there's going to be a website this time. They're trying to push these out as quickly as they can. So I'm sure that whatever the route or the method is that you got your first stimulus, that's the method you're going to get for this one, and you can't change that. Okay. Also, I get the question a lot. What happens if I never got my first stimulus? And yes, guys, there's several of you out there that did not get the first stimulus. So what does that mean for you? Well, in a nutshell, this money is actually a 2020 tax credit for your tax return. Okay. And you're just getting an advance on that. So you're just getting a little early. So what's going to happen is when you file your 2020 tax return here in very little bit, you are going to get the money then when you file your taxes. So you're not out the money. You didn't get skipped necessarily. You still will get it. So you'll get the amount from the first stimulus, plus you'll get the amount from the second stimulus when you file your 2020 tax return. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any questions on that so far for stimulus? Checking my comments. Julie asked, if I didn't apply for the first round PPP, am I eligible to try in round 2? And I'm a sole prop, no employees. Yes, Julie. Yes, you can. So actually what you're going to do is you're going to want to apply for round 1. Because round 1 doesn't have that 25% decline restriction. So you are going to want to apply for round 1 during the round 2. So you're actually going to get phase 1, I'm going to call it, during the round 2. So yes, you will need to apply for that, and you are eligible for that if you had a profit on your tax return. And how you go about finding that, Julie, is you're going to look at your 2019 tax return. You're going to find your Schedule C, and you're going to look at line 31. So find line 31. That's the very bottom line. You're going to divide that number by 12. That will give you the monthly. And then you're going to multiply that by 2.5. And that should give you what your PPP is, because you're telling me you're a sole prop, no employee. So that would be your PPP. Crystal, hey, how are you? Nice to join me. Is there a way to check if my dependent was included in my first stimulus check? Ours was much less because of the income threshold. Oh, good question, M. If they were claimed on your 2018 return, if you had not filed your 2019 before the stimulus, they went off the 18. If they are on that one, then yes. They should have been included. Absolutely. And then when you go to file your tax return, there's a check and balance system that us accountants will do when we do that as well. Okay. Awesome. All right. So moving along now. So exciting things with the stimulus happened today. Don't know if anybody's watched the news today, but the news is on around here all the time when it comes to stimulus stuff. But so today the House, Trump, said he wanted 2,000, right? So he said, let's make it happen. So the House passed a standalone bill to raise the 600 to the 2,000. Okay. Now the House passed it. So what does that mean? That means it's got to go to the Senate. Okay. And from what we're hearing, news-wise, they are not sure if it's going to pass the Senate. So we're waiting to hear that. Once it passes the Senate, then it will go to the president for his seal of approval, and then it would change the 600 to the 2,000. Okay. So right now it's December 28th, 8:16 p.m. It has not passed the Senate from what I understand at this point. And so we're still waiting on that. And remember, the clock is ticking, right? The end of the year is coming. So they got to make some decisions here, guys. But right now it's 600. Okay. And thanks. You're welcome. Cinder, hi. We got our first stimulus check. Will that be deducted from what we might get after filing? Good question. So no, it will not, essentially, because it is a new credit. So the new credit is the amount of the stimulus. So if you already got the stimulus, you just got it early. It's an advance is how it works. So it won't decrease your refund. And a lot of people are worried about that. So, you know, hey, I usually get $2,000 of a refund. I got a $1,200. I got $600. Oh no, there's hardly anything left. That's not the case. That's not how this is working. This is a advance of a new credit that's coming out for 2020. Okay. You're welcome. No problem, Cinder. All right. So get my notes here. All right, so that's what the stimulus, again, if you have questions, guys, just keep putting them here in the comments, and I hope that I'm seeing them all. If not, I promise you, I will get back with you and answer your questions. All right, so the next thing is unemployment. If any of you are on unemployment or have been on unemployment and you are getting the pandemic unemployment, that's that extra weekly, that has also been extended. So it ended in December with the old bill. With the new bill, this pandemic unemployment is going to extend or continue till April. What does that mean? It's going to be $300 extra a week. This is federal unemployment. This is not state. So each state's going to be different how they're handling unemployment, but this is your federal unemployment. So that's how that's going to work as well. Okay. Anybody questions on unemployment? Hi, Crystal. All right. Back to small business owners. So some of you got the EIDL loan. Okay, that was the loan that you got from SBA. Totally different from the PPP. If you got that loan, part of that too, you asked to receive an advance, and that was, originally they said it was going to be $10,000. And then it came out to, oh no, it's not 10,000, it's 1,000 per employee. Remember that? So with the new bill, you do not have to pay back that money. Okay. So with the old bill, if you had gotten the PPP, you would have to turn that EIDL grant into a loan. That's no longer the case. Okay. So you do not have to pay that back anymore. And also with the PPP, if your PPP was $150,000 or less, there is a new simplified form. So a lot of clients actually, have been asking me, hey, my bank's wanting me to do this forgiveness form. And I keep telling you guys, just hold off a little longer for me. Just hold off a little longer for me. Well, this is the reason that I'm telling you to hold off. So instead of giving them a huge stack of paperwork, or files, because you're not going to give them papers anymore. Now it's going to be more of like a one form deal. Okay. So again, we're still waiting. We're in the logistics stage of this. As one of my colleagues said, now the bill's been passed. So now it's got to funnel down to the middleman for them to figure out how it's going to work. And then we'll know. So again, guys, don't expect this to happen overnight, although they say they're going to try to get these stimulus out starting the end of the week. We'll see. Let's see. Harold, absolutely. It's a great thing that you don't have to pay it back. Julie, do you know if new bill includes more EIDL money or only PPP? The new stimulus bill only affects the PPP from what I understand right now. If you have not applied for EIDL, let me get with you, Julie, on a DM on that, if you don't mind. But yes, PPP. So if you didn't get the first round of PPP, you need to go back and get the first round. And if you did get the first round, like I was saying earlier, you can qualify for a second round if some qualifications are met. I hope that helps you. Let's see. All right, so I'm moving along. All right, any questions? Any more questions? Awesome. All right. So the next step is we have 3 days until 2021. And I know that there's mixed emotions about going into a new year. So tell me below, hey, how are you? Tell me how you feel about starting 2021. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you just ready to get 2020 over with? I know a friend of mine today was putting up their Christmas tree and they're like, I'm just ready to get done with this. I'm ready for 2021 to get here. Hey, Angie, how are you? So what does that mean for tax purposes? You have 3 days. Well, what do I do, right? So if you are small business, then now you have 3 days, guys. That's it. 3 days. And yes, you can make big changes in 3 days. Okay. So with 3 days, I want you to concentrate on a couple things. One, you need to make sure your books are in order. If they are not in order, you can't make decisions. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And if you're in business, you need to have your finances in order. That's like number one. Okay. If you don't have them in order, you need some help. I do have a freebie in my group. You can go and download. If you need extra help, I can help you with that. I want you guys to be successful. Okay. So one thing you can do is you need to time your income and expenses these last 3 days. What does that mean? That means pay all your bills. Okay. Look up that electric bill, get it paid. If you have supplies you need to get paid, get them paid. Don't wait until 2021 to pay invoices that are sitting on your desk right now. Get them paid. If you don't have an invoice from a supplier, call them up, say, hey, how much money do I owe you? Get them paid. Because if they're paid, you can write the expense off, right? All right. Second caveat to that is if you have invoices that you need to send out, if you don't need the money in the bank, wait until next week to send those invoices out. Because you pay income on money that you've received if you're a cash basis, not money that's just waiting to be billed. Okay. So timing those expenses and that income is very, very important. All right. Patsy says she just wants to get out of 2020. Let's see just another day, fearfully about direction of country, but Jesus is still king. Amen, Mr. Harold. You got it. Angie, how do these stimulus checks affect our income taxes, or do they at all? Do they affect them? No, not really, because they are in advance on a new credit. So if your advance, your new credit shows that you should have gotten, I'm just going to throw a number out here, $2,000 in this new stimulus, and you already got $2,000, well, then it just balances each other out. Now, if the new credit says you got $2,000 and you only got $1,000, that means that when you file your 2020 tax return, you're going to get the additional money. Okay, so just make sure that's clear. I hope that helps, Angie. All right, so back to things you can do in the next 3 days. So time your income and expenses. If you have assets that you need to buy, so there's equipment that you need to purchase, then go ahead and purchase it. But don't go purchase things just so you don't have to pay Uncle Sam more money. Okay. I'm not a believer in that, guys. If you need it, fine. If you buy something that's going to help you make money, go and buy it. That's great. Okay. But don't just do that. You're not going to get a dollar per dollar return on that. And then if you haven't already, and guys, this is for you taxpayers as well. You don't have to be self-employed, but if you have not tapped into and maxed out on your retirement contributions, you need to look at doing that. Okay. That's part of tax planning. You don't have to make those contributions by the end of the year, but you do need to start thinking about those things and getting those ready to go. Okay. So tap into those. And then you guys who have payroll, whether that be yourself in an S Corp, C Corp, or those who are individual who have employees on payroll, now's the time to analyze those. Are there people on your payroll that need a year-end bonus? Go ahead and get it put on payroll. Run an extra payroll if you have to. And then with payroll too, I've talked about this in other lives that I've done. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But many of you are like me. We have kids, right, that help us in our business. I have an 18-year-old that helps me all the time. She spent practically all day today running errands for the business. And then I have two smaller children, 9 and 10. They do things in my business to help me. They get a paycheck, guys. You can do that. That is a business tax deduction. It's the smart thing. It's planning. Those are the types of things that you need a planner for. Okay. So those are the main things. Get your books in order. If you know if your books are in order, you know if you're making a profit or not. So you know how to make some adjustments. Time those income and expenses. Make the most of depreciation. Go buy those things if you need it. If the thing is going to make you money. Fund those retirement accounts and then make some payroll changes if you need to do that. So in a nutshell, nitty gritty, great things happening for businesses who got the PPP or the EIDL. So great things in the bill. If you are a taxpayer, no business, just a taxpayer, then there's more money coming to you. $600 for the taxpayer, $600 for the spouse, and then $600 for each dependent claimed on your tax return under the age of 17. Okay. And then unemployment, they're extending that federal unemployment through April, and that's an additional $300 per week. Okay. And stay tuned, guys, to my channel through my Facebook groups. And I'm going to keep watching this to see if the $2,000 stimulus passes the Senate. So remember, like I said, it has passed the House. We're waiting on it to pass the Senate. So I do have, you guys, if you are not already in my Facebook group, if you will go, I'm going to put this over here. If I can find my banner, there we go. If you are not part of my Facebook group, please join my group. So you're going to go here to the Calculated Profits by Stephanie Facebook page, and up at the very top, it says join group. So do that. I go live in that group and make announcements in that group before I make announcements anywhere else. So if you want to be the first to know, make sure you get in the group. So not just the page, but make sure you join the group there. All right. So I say Facebook user, thanks, Stephanie. You're welcome. I don't know who you are. You need to give StreamYard permission, but you're so very welcome. Any other questions before I let you guys go tonight? Anybody else? I'm going to look one more place just to make sure I don't have any more questions. Okay. And again, if your question did not show up here and it shows up on another page, I will get to you. Don't worry. I'm here, guys, for you anytime that you need me. Send me a DM, message me, through the Facebook. Hey, Jessica, how are you? You're welcome for all the info. Let's see. All right. Any other? Okay. All right, guys. All right. So thanks again for joining me. As soon as I hear something about the Senate passing, Angie says, when do you think they will make a decision on the $2,000 stimulus package? Well, they only have a couple days. So hopefully soon. It just passed the House today, actually this afternoon. So it'll go to the Senate tomorrow, and, we will see what's happening. I'm looking over here to the news to see if there's anything. Let's see. Julie, you're perfectly welcome. Sindra, absolutely. This is my passion, guys. Like I said in the very beginning, excuse me. I have been in this field for forever. My mother was an accountant, and then I took over her practice about 11 years ago. So this is bred into me, guys. It has been, put in me, I guess you could say. All I've ever done, tax, bookkeeping, accounting, tax planning. So if you need help, I'm your expert, and I'm here to help you. Em, thank you so much. All right. Good to talk to you. All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye.